So, of course, we know that Breonna Taylor died in March after police officers executed what they call a no-knock warrant at her apartment and then shot her 8 times. Shot her 8 times. Woman sleeping in her house, in her apartment. Shot her, killed her. The thing that troubles me the most about this, and I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I don't want to be the person that's finding fault with everything. But the settlement, this agreement, does not acknowledge wrongdoing or fault by the police department in Breonna Taylor's death. They're not saying that they did anything wrong. That's why I have this issue with this, right? That's the issue. Now, this is $12 million, is the largest wrongful death settlement ever paid out for a black woman killed by the police in America. This is the largest settlement. Okay. So there's something there, okay? But that's also because so much noise was made in regards to this, and they were forced to do this. I don't think this is something that they really wanted to do. You know what we want to do? We want to pay, it wasn't that. They were forced to do this. $12 million. So the city of Louisville agrees to do what? The city of Louisville is going to give $12 million to the family. And in addition to that, the commanding officers going forward must approve search warrants. Okay. Ooh, big deal, right? Big deal. But that's part of this. And incentives for officers to live in the city. That's something that we have talked about for quite some time. Wanting, you want officers who live in the city to be the people that are policing the policing the community. You want that to be the case. So they have these incentives, and they want to attempt to improve relationships between the community and the officers. And additionally, social workers will help with mental health calls. So these are things that the city of Louisville agreed to. And the mayor, Greg Fisher, and Breonna Taylor's attorneys spoke during the press conference. So Fisher did begin by saying that he is deeply, deeply sorry for Breonna Taylor's death. Louisville has settled the civil suit, and he reminded people that the city and the police are going to implement reforms. So Fisher said that his administration is not waiting to move ahead with the reforms. Claims that they're going to do it now, right? An early warning system that tracks use of force. That's a good thing. Citizen complaints and more to monitor officers. Monitoring the officers is very important. There needs to be a national database. There needs to be that. So among other reforms and changes in this settlement with the family of Breonna Taylor, Louisville will require commanding officers to approve all search warrant affidavits and risk assessments. The risk assessments before seeking a judge's signature. So according to the mayor, these are significant policy changes on top of what we've already established. So, and as I said, the estate also is going to get a payment of $12 million. So this is a path of agreed reformed action. And healing is definitely needed. But we also need to see officers held accountable. Now, I mean, to me, you're paying them $12 million. You can admit that you did something wrong, because if you didn't, you would not be changing things. You would not be paying them this money if you, the police department, were not responsible for her death, and obviously they are. Through no fault of her own, she's dead. And from actions of the police. So, I don't know. It's just it's a sad thing, and this doesn't. The settlement it's nice. Amount of money is nice. It's cool, but you still have this family that has to deal with this loss. So protests have been going on since May, at least. But justice is a multi-layered thing with regards to this. So minimizing the risk is something that they're talking about. But what I like about this, and one of the statements that I really like, the attorney for Breonna Taylor's family said this: "We finished the first mile in a marathon." Finished the first mile in a marathon. This is coming from the attorney for the family. So they are still demanding, this is also important, they are still demanding Kentucky AG Daniel Cameron bring charges immediately against the police officers that murdered Breonna Taylor. That is very important. That's what I want to see. Bring charges immediately against the officers that clearly and definitely murdered her. At a minimum, second-degree murder charges are required. At a minimum. Because here's the thing. The same AG, they've brought charges quickly against nonviolent protesters, but no charges against the officers that murdered Breonna Taylor. People that are on the right side of history, nonviolently protesting the murder of Breonna Taylor, those people shouldn't have criminal records. While the real criminals, in this case, the police, get off scot-free. So Breonna Taylor's mom, Tamika, a strong woman, dealing with a lot. The civil settlement is one part of this. But as Tamika Palmer, who is Breonna's mom, as she said, we must not lose focus on what the real job is. It's time to move forward on criminal charges. She deserves that. That's a quote from her mother. We're talking about strong women, strong black women. And Miss Tamika Palmer is one such woman. So just tuning in, the Diamond K Show, Radio on Fire, thediamondkshow.com. I'm here weekdays, 7 to 9 p.m. And, we're talking about this $12 million settlement between the city of Louisville and the estate, the family of Breonna Taylor. There has been a very highly publicized campaign where they talked about say her name. And this very high settlement. It's cool, right? Substantial. It's a lot of money. Breonna Taylor was only 26 years old, fatally shot by the police 6 months ago. 6 months ago. So previously, before this $12 million, the largest payout was $8.5 million to Edwin Chandler in 2012, who was wrongfully imprisoned for over 9 years. So, but the numbers, like I said, the numbers are cool and all of that. But the real deal, the real thing is reform and justice, meaning that these officers need to be charged. Now, charged, tried, because here's the thing, it's clear that they're guilty. All of the excuses that are given in other instances don't apply in this situation. But we definitely, the no-knock warrants stuff creates a scenario where you have people getting killed. It creates that type of situation. Breonna Taylor murdered on March the 13th after these police officers executed this no-knock warrant in Louisville, Kentucky, shot 8 times. Her birthday would have been June the 5th. She would have been 27 years old. But that's where we are. That's where we are right now. Man, Diamond K in here, of course, RadioFire.com, thediamondkshow.com. Quick break.